we're preparing to seed a track league, yes, just track, with accessibility to the event unlike we've never seen before. I like that. Y'all like that?
We'll see.
I like that. Which is why I asked the director of racing with Grand Slam Track, none other than Kyle Merber, to what?
Sorry, I have to interrupt. There's a postal director of race.
Yeah. Kyle, don't listen to all that stuff, man.
We talking sprint culture, we talking track and field. When the gunshot lick it, give a man the chills. We talking speed demons like Usain. The red track where a legend really makes their name. The US and Jamaica, they run the sprinting game. There's nothing like the Olympics for your claim to fame. When you break the world record, you show you ain't the same. From the men to the women, times are insane. Yeah, we talking sprint culture. We talking sprint culture. We talking sprint culture. We talking sprint culture.
A major story that has arisen as of late in the sprint world is that the fastest man in the world, Noah Lyles, is going to be racing wide receiver in the NFL, Tyreek Hill, this summer in 2025.
Great.
You guys are joking, right? The fastest man in the world? How is this even happening? This is the highest title in our sport, arguably in all the sports. And this is why Tyreek Hill is even calling out Noah Lyles in the first place. But he's got some Jedi mind trick on everybody, including you guys, where it's been positioned like this is some sort of opportunity for Noah. Why would it be so simple for an NFL player, who probably isn't even the fastest player in the NFL right now, to line up with the fastest man in the world? Come on, man. These thirsty track fans are out here coming at me like, well, it's great exposure for the sport, man. You guys didn't sound exactly like that, but it's similar kind of tone. This is why people don't take us seriously, man. Tyreek, with his same status, could never request to walk on a basketball court and play LeBron James in a one-on-one, let alone anybody at the top of their game in any sport. Let Tyreek try and race against some of the lower tier guys, man. Keep that guy in his place. DK came over and ran against these guys and got dead last in the qualifying round. This is the type of place we need to keep these guys, man. But I mean, this poses a question. How much is a gimmick worth?
It's not a gimmick.
It's a gimmick.
It's real.
It's definitely a gimmick.
It's real.
Views aren't everything, man. Not when it comes to the expense of devaluing the level of these track and field athletes. If Tyreek loses to the fastest man in the world, it won't matter because he lost to the fastest man in the world. And he can still carry on like, well, I mean, I lost to the fastest man in the world, just like y'all do. I still think I could beat the rest of you bums.
What if he beats the fastest man in the world?
Can you please stop saying that? You're gonna speak it into existence. And then we're done. Track and field is done.
No, it's done, not track and field.
Track and field network, sprint culture, it's all over.
No, it's done.
It's all over. If he loses for whatever reason, like a stumble or a fall or an injury or Tyreek catches a flyer, whatever, even if Noah barely wins, it's not gonna matter. Track and field is done, man. I wanna see Noah running against the best, man. I think that's what's gonna raise the stock of the sport. This is why the Olympics are so popular, because we know that we're gonna see the best at their best against the best. And I think this is exactly what Grand Slam Track is trying to establish with this new league they've established. It's a professional structure of track, the best track and field athletes in the world. I think this is what we need. This is why I've asked, again, the director of racing with Grand Slam Track, Kyle Merber, to give us a sense of what exactly we're looking for with Grand Slam Track. Kyle, what's up, man? Senior Director of Racing at Grand Slam Track. As you can see with these guys, and myself included, what exactly does that mean?
I don't get it.
Yeah, I think it's like the coolest job title ever, right? They don't tell you that in school that was an option. The job description is if an athlete wants to get into one of our events, then I speak with their agent and we figure it out.
Sydney was a big get.
Yeah, I think Sydney bought in from day one. When MJ first had that conversation with her, she saw the vision. People have been critical of Sydney and a lot of Americans for the hesitancy to constantly go over to Europe and race in diamond leagues. There's elements of, the league just professionalizing the way that we do things that I think has attracted athletes like Sydney and others and the way the athletes are treated. But, Sydney has been incredible. Like she really leaned in early on.
Did you approach all of the big names?
If there's someone that you are looking at and being like, well, why didn't they get so-and-so? It's like, why? Like, of course we tried to get so-and-so. Like, if
So
you're
you tried
at,
the Grant Holloways, you tried the Julian Alfreds, you tried the Noahs, you tried the Shakaris.
yeah, of course. If you want a gold medal, why would we not have tried? Everyone, has their varying reasons why they said yes, and they have varying reasons why they would have said no. There's no hard feelings or anything. Some fans are choosing to focus on like who's not there, and it's like, well, let's look at who is here. Like, we've got 48 of the best athletes in the entire world, and we already know who, what, when, where they're going to be racing this season. Like, that is such a huge unlock that has never happened in the sport. We have 6 individual gold medalists from Paris, 16 athletes that have won an Olympic title or a world title, 39 athletes who are ranked in the top 8 last year. And that's not including, Devin Allen, who was in the NFL, or Zarnell Hughes, who was on the podium the year before and just had some injuries. We have like such an elite crew of athletes assembled, and again, like, there are the challengers.
All right, let's talk about this racers, challengers stuff you guys got going
I know
on.
there's some education piece to like the new verbiage. There's 96 athletes that will compete in a given slam. 48 of them will have committed to doing all 4 up front. Those are our racers. And then the challengers, that's like you sign up on a one-off basis, or you come in, you come out. Hey, you're going to do Philly. You're not going to do Miami. It's going to be really competitive just to get in. I always think of it as Formula One, where there's 20 drivers and you know exactly who, what, when, and where they're all going to be racing. And the 21st driver probably feels like they deserve to be sitting in one of the cars. But for the sake of the fans and that experience, it's really easy to know and follow 20 athletes. This is what I'm now excited for. And now that all the athletes are out there, it's like, all right, well, let's like dig in. Let's like analyze
right.
who we're going to be able to watch. And that's something that the sport has been able to do when you figure out who's on the start list the day before. Now we can.
So April 4th to 6th, Kingston, Jamaica. May 2nd to 4th, Miami. May 30th to June 1st, Philadelphia. June 27th to June 29th is Los Angeles. Do you think it's going to be tough to get fast times so early in the season?
I think right now people race all the time in April, May, June, but they just do it at high school meets when no one's watching. And from a fan's perspective, would you rather someone go time trial at a high school meet, or would you rather see them race the best athletes in the world? And then if they get beat, talk about like narrative building, right? At the end of the day, it's just about great races.
Athlos has arrived, Alexis Ohanian's women's only track meet. But I see that Ohanian actually took a shot at you guys on Twitter. I'm paraphrasing, but he was basically saying that Grand Slam track was requiring the women to have to ask permission to compete other places and how it's not athlete friendly. What was the general Grand Slam track interpretation of what he was saying here?
I think like there's been just a lot of misinformation that's always floated around since the league first started. We have Gabby Thomas in the league. We have Brittany Brown. We have Alexis Holmes, like tons of athletes that did Athlos. I don't know if that was just misinterpreted, but no, athletes can do whatever they want. You just have to show up to ours. That's it.
While we're on the topic of Twitter, Tara Davis-Woodhall and Hunter Woodhall, they had some words for Michael Johnson on the video I saw. They were basically upset that Michael had an interview where he said that he can't save the field. What did you guys make of that?
Yeah, I mean, first off, like, I'm a huge Tara fan. I know MJ has always thought extremely highly of her. I think if every athlete performed the way that she does, the sport would be really in a great place. Like, really, like, encapsulating the idea of being an entertainer. There's been heat for the lack of field events, and like, I completely understand why. And it's coming from multiple different angles. I don't think he said field events cannot be saved. Grand Slam's perspective is everything that we're doing is to try to give these runners like a new platform in which fans can really connect. And when they're on the track, we want as many people and eyes on them as possible. The business decision early on was made that it was just going to be athletes on the track and all eyes will be on them. I understand the frustration. I think ultimately, though, it's just like focus on one thing and try to do it as best as you can.
It's got to be kind of tough for Michael to not respond to some of the negative flack on social media, huh?
He generally is pretty good at not responding to things when he doesn't want to.
Is there pressure to turn a profit in this first year of Grand Slam track?
No. It took the UFC 20 years to make a profit. As long as more people continue to tune in and numbers grow and we sell more tickets in season 2 than season 1, like think of it from the perspective of any investor. Like that's what you want to see is just growth. And this is not pickleball. Like it's not a sport that we don't know if people want to watch. That this is the most popular sport in the world every 4 years. It is global. Millions of people participate. Millions of people already enjoy. Like this is not, you're not inventing something and having to sell people on it. That's an investor's dream. And so just make small tweaks to something that's already great and just make it a little bit more accessible and easier to follow for fans. And you get the best athletes on the track. If the best athletes are on the track, good things happen. We always know that.
All right, so Kyle Merber, Senior Director of Racing with Grand Slam Track. Tell us, why do we need to tune in to Grand Slam Track this season?
There's a reason why so many athletes are so excited about this. I think Grand Slam sits at an intersection between what the fans want and what the athletes want. I think the experience of in stadium is going to be dialed up a notch from what a lot of fans are used to. We got some people from the WWE. We've got people from the NFL. We've got people from Red Bull. You sit down in a room with everyone sometimes and you have these conversations. It's like, well, why do you guys do this? It's like, I don't know. It's just the way we've always done it. They're like, well, at WWE, we did this and people loved it. It was like, wow, we've never thought of doing that. We should do that. And so there's just different elements of like creating a live product with new voices in the room that have been really cool. So I hope people come experience it and support it and bring a friend.
We talking sprint culture. We talking sprint culture.